What is up, everybody? We are back to talk about the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? This event has changed names over the years, but it has been held at the TPC Craig Ranch each of the last 3 years. So we got 3 years of data to work with. The course is a par 71, 7,414 yards, located in McKinney, Texas. The winners here the last 3 years: Jason Day won here last year. KH Lee won here in 2022 and 2021. So we won back-to-back years. In terms of difficulty, very easy course. This has been one of the 6 easiest courses on the PGA Tour each of the last 3 years. The winning scores have been, I think, 23, 25, and 26 under par. The PGA Tour did try to make scoring a little bit tougher by changing one of the par 5s into a par 4. Doesn't really change the course at all. It just changes, one number on the scorecard. So technically it's going to be 4 strokes tougher than when it was a par 5. Although they did shorten the hole a little bit from like 530 to 490 yards, something like that. But you would think that a course that's 7,400 yards, that has water in play on 13 holes, that has tree line fairways, would be somewhat of a tough test for the professionals, but that is not the case. Extremely easy course. The fairway is pretty wide. Greens are pretty big. In terms of last year, the tournament averages, driving distance was 295 yards. Driving accuracy was 61%. Green regulation was 69%. There are 3 par 5s that are all reachable and 2 by most of the field. There is a drivable par 4 as well. And the front 9 on this course is the easiest on the PGA Tour. So you definitely want to make your money on the front 9. If you are betting, if you like live betting, I don't mind guys that start off on the back 9 that maybe don't start off as hot as some of the other guys on the front 9. You might be able to get a good live number on them once the tournament starts, but we will see about that. In terms of the approach shots, 70% of the approach shots in 2023 came from at least 150 yards. So you're getting a lot of mid and long irons, not a lot of wedges at this course. And I do think scrambling is going to come into play. Typically at a birdie fest, I'd look at putting more than scrambling because the field is all hitting greens of regulation. But here, the green regulation rate isn't all that high. It was 69% last year. And you're probably going to be scrambling on the 3 par 5s. You're getting it up by the green, got to get up and down for birdie, and then on the drivable par 4 as well. So there's going to be more scrambling opportunities than you might expect. In terms of what I'm looking for, ball striking, strokes gained putting around the green, experience in Texas, birdie or better percentage. That's pretty much it. In terms of course history, has not been very predictive year in and year out, even though KH won this event back-to-back years. You can show up here and play well. You don't need extensive course knowledge in order to play well at this course. Now let's get into the model. For this week, I have 6% weight to off the tee, 6% weight to total driving. I am starting to even out the weights in terms of the time frames. Over the last couple months, I've been placing a bigger weight to the longer term stats. It's because we haven't had a ton of sample size from 2024 just yet. But now that we're 4 months into the season, I do think we have big enough sample size. So I'm putting even weights over the last 3 months, the last 6 months, and the last 12 months. So I'm looking off the tee, total driving, strokes gained approach. The expected column here in the strokes gained approach category basically takes a look at how many approach shots each golfer is expected to hit from each yardage bucket, and then applies their strokes gained numbers to those buckets, and then comes up with a rating for this specific course. So at this specific course, the model expects these guys to gain the most strokes on approach. You have Tom Hoagie, Tom Kim, Luke List, Ches Reavie, Mark Hubbard, Siwoo Kim, Sam Ryder, kind of rounding out your top few there. We have around the green at 5%. Again, that's pretty high for a birdie fest. Strokes gained putting, I put it at 12%. Then birdie better rate at 6%. Bogey avoidance at 6%. I don't mind flipping these a little bit. If you want to go ahead and do 3-3-3, 1-1-1, just to kind of get more scoring, I certainly don't mind that approach this week. Or you could even bump up birdie or better percentage even higher. I will note that the forecast is calling for a lot of rain, a lot of wind, pretty much over all 4 days. We'll have to see if that holds come Thursday morning, but we could see some delays. We could see some tougher scoring conditions. But at the same time, we've seen some bad winds at this course in the past, and golfers have still been able to tear it up. And I'm now just noticing that my green hoodie is going in with the green screen behind me, so I kind of look a little invisible. But course history, again, we only have 3 years of data to work with. I only put it at 2% in terms of the weight. The course fit, this comes from Data Golf. strokes gained on TPC courses. So if there's a correlation there between all the TPC courses on the PGA Tour, Sung J M, Tom Kim, Noren, we know KH Lee loves the TPC courses. And then you got the easy courses. So these are going to be very easy courses where scores are very low. Sung Jae again, Pendrith, Noren, Tom Kim. So these are over the last 2 years. So a little bit bigger sample size there. The form over the last 10 weeks. This is just for you to look at so you can see how often golfers are playing, how well they are playing recently. Then we have the different form buckets. Again, I'm starting to tighten the dispersion of weights between short-term and long-term. So I got 11%, 12%, 13% there. As always, you have the manual adjustment column. You can go through and adjust these if you would like. So I bumped up KH3 because for whatever reason, he loves TPC courses and he loves this course. So I bumped him up a little bit. So I'm getting more exposure to him in my builds and lineup HQ on RotoGrinders. And if you are a premium member, you get access to lineup HQ. You get access to this model. You can create your own ratings. You can upload them into lineup HQ and build your lineups based on your own thoughts. So your own input. It's kind of cool. If you want to check it out, please do so. I think we have a deal going on with the combo package. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know or just sign up. As far as the overall rankings, number one on the model is going to be Adam Scott. A little bit interesting there. I mean, he's the 5th most expensive on DraftKings, the 6th most expensive on FanDuel. Will Zalatoris did withdraw today, so that's another 10K option out of the player pool. But yeah, Scott's number one in the model, number one in the stat model. T32, T8 here the last 2 years. He's been pretty solid this year. If you look at his individual strokes gain numbers, they are all over the place. 1 week he's gaining off the tee and around the green. The next week he's gaining on approach and putting. He just needs to put all 4 together. I actually bet him outright at 25-1. I also bet Siwoo Kim at 18-1. He's just been playing so well. He's been great tee to green. He just hasn't been able to putt well, but he hasn't missed a cut this year. 5 straight top 30 finishes, finished second here last year. He's gained at least 5.7 strokes tee to green in 6 of his last 8 starts. So really good numbers there. That could help, especially if the wind picks up. Spieth, I don't know what to do with Spieth. So if you look at his recent form, I mean, 30th, miscut, 10th, miscut, T39. Not the best numbers, but he loves Texas. He's obviously from Texas, back-to-back top 10s here. Seems like a good course for him with the wide fairways. So no issue with Spieth, especially with the lack of other options. But I kind of like starting my lineups in the 9Ks. You can get Noren and Scott rather than playing one of the 10K guys. Noren's been awesome. Great form. 5 straight top 25 finishes. Back-to-back top 25 finishes here. Likes to win. Loves easy courses. So I do like Noren quite a bit. Jaeger, I think he's going to get just go overlooked a little bit. For whatever reason, people just tend to fade golfers coming off of a recent win, especially when it's their first win on the PGA Tour. And Jaeger did that. He won the Valero, I want to say, and then missed the cut at the Masters and T18 at the RBC. So he's a good course fit. I think he should play well here, back-to-back top 40 finishes for him at this event. Jason Day 1 year last year. He's kind of been struggling with his game ever since. He's flashed some upside, but most of it's been with the short game. So I'd like to see a little bit more with the irons before I trust him in DFS. The price point's not all that enticing. I'll have a little bit of him in MME, but for single entry for my main lineup for 3 max, I'm looking to start with Scott and Noren, maybe Jaeger too, maybe Siwoo, rather than the 2 10K guys. Doug Ginn projects so well. I just don't know what to do. I mean, he was great towards the start at the start of the season, and then miscut, T43. But he did finish T19 here last year. The model loves him. He likes TPC courses. 7,700 is a great price and 10% ownership. I might have to bite the bullet on that one. Shank's been playing well, so consistent. He's one of those golfers that can gain strokes in all facets of his game, so I like him quite a bit. Hoagie's the best iron player in the field, no matter what time frame you're looking at. Look at this, 1-1-1, and he's number 1 in the expected strokes gained category. Made his last 2 cuts here. Playing some really solid golf right now. Hubbard's very safe. He's been making a lot of cuts. He's 2 for 2 here. Like him in all formats. Tom Kim finally flashing a little bit of upside. T26 at the Masters, T18 RBC. Back-to-back top 35s here. This is one of the few events that he's actually seen for the 3rd time, so I do like that quite a bit. He's not a bomber by any means. He's actually one of the shorter hitters off the tee, but he hits a ton of fairways, so that will be, an unadvantage for him. And he's very good with his mid and long irons. We have Aaron Rye, who missed a cut at Corrales his last time out, but Yeah, tends to play well in the wind, so I don't mind looking at him. Quest is a guy that flashed a lot of upside last summer. Didn't quite get his PGA Tour card. Back on the Corn Ferry Tour, finished 10th in his last start there. Then got a spot start in Corrales, finished top 10 there, which earned him another spot into this field. And he finished T14 here last year. He's a bomber that makes a lot of birdies. I think he makes a lot of sense at 7,500. Keith Mitchell's been awesome, ball striking. Just can't make a chip or a putt. Davis Thompson's been pretty consistent. Benny On, I'm thinking about betting him outright. I just don't know. The model doesn't love him at the price point, but I mean, he does have a lot of upside. The form's been all over the place, but T14 year last year. His biggest strengths off the tee and around the green, that should play well here. That's kind of similar to Jason Day, although Jason Day is a much better putter. But yeah, I think he's interesting. Sung Jae, I haven't seen enough from him. His T12 at RBC was encouraging, but it was mostly short game, a lot of putting. Cagely, again, he loves this course. Don't mind playing him. McNeely's kind of doing everything well except hitting the irons. If you look here, pretty good off the tee, especially over the last 3 months. The approach play is getting a little bit better, but still 67th over the last 3 months is not great. Very good around the green, very good putter, very good at avoiding bogeys. So I think he's safe to make the cut. I just don't know what his upside is if he's not going to hit the irons well. They say to always play Bo Hostler in Texas. Don't mind it. 7,800 is a pretty good price point. I love Nate Lashley. The model always loves Nate Lashley. He's come through more often than not. I think this 3-week stretch, the model was on him. Then didn't like him. Actually, that was Corrales. So I didn't run the model for Corrales, but it's been on him lately. He's been playing well. And he's above field average in every strokes gain category. A couple top 25s here. Placed a hefty bet on him to finish in the top 40 this week. Mackenzie Hughes finally showing some ball striking. He's a short game specialist, but 5 straight top 40 finishes. I'm on board with him. Justin Lower's got a couple good, at least a couple made cuts at this event. And then let's take a look at the point per dollar columns and we'll get out of here. Again, if you are an RG premium member, you can download the model. You can read all these notes that I left over here. Not as many as you'll typically see like a major, but I think I do have like 40 or 50 notes in the model this week. And then you can play around with the filters and all that stuff as well. So number one in point per dollar, you have Gim, then Quest, and Lashley. Jimmy Stanger, pretty small sample size, but he has flashed some upside. Don't mind looking at him in tournaments. We talked about all these guys. Martin Laird, quietly, he's made 5 straight cuts and, made the cut here last year. Don't hate him at 6,800. Yeah, Ben Griffin's been playing a little bit better. The irons have kind of come alive over his last 4 starts. That should just about do it. Ryan Moore, maybe. Been playing a little bit better this year. But yeah, I want to thank you for joining me. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you don't mind. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to get to them before Thursday lineup lock. So good luck, everybody. Catch you next week.